We are on air, guys. So I send all the greetings from the Jmix team to our great community, and I'm very happy to see you in 2025. This is our first webinar. It will be fully dedicated to our new JMix 2.5 release. As you may detected already in the title of the webinar, it's not a secret. I'm pleased to announce our today's speakers, Gleb, the platform tech lead, and Konstantin, the head of engineering. You may know him from earlier webinars. He already made streamed regarding the JMix functionality. Okay, and while we are making all the needed preparations, and I think that we still acquire the audience, it will be nice to hear from you if the voice and the video is okay. So please put pluses, hearts, or flames in the chat just to tell that you hear and can watch us well. Yeah, this will be very helpful. And I should say also that in case you will like some feature which we'll demonstrate today very much, we will also wait for your emotions, because this inspires our team a lot, and we see that those things are better than others. And yeah, this makes us originally feel very good. Thank you very much in advance. So hopefully, yeah, I see that people say that that's okay, so we can slightly proceed. Well, we'll take some maybe 3 to 5 minutes to wait for others who maybe forgot about the webinar dedicated to JMix 2.5 release, and we'll just speak slightly about the new functionalities. I have a few questions to our speakers today, and my first question is to the UI champion, Gleb. The question is for you. I know that people were very were asked us a lot about the tabbed window mode before, and they were wondering why we spend so much time on doing this thing. Is it so complicated? Can you tell a little bit why we've spent more than a year already experimenting with the tabbed window mode, and still, as I know, it's not finished absolutely yet?
Yeah, you're right. It's not completely finished, and I would say that we spent less than a year actually. And the main reason is that modern Vaadin, Vaadin Flow uses modern approach to navigations or road-based applications. Yeah, then you consider the URL, which is user attempt to access, and then you render a view for that URL. So URL comes first, and since everything in Vaadin is private, it's hard to override their functionality, and actually there is no single point of navigation handling in Vaadin, so we had to override and debug a lot of things to find a correct solution how to disable their navigation handling and provide our own navigation handling. And other thing is that, and this is actually not implemented yet, is preserve and refresh. In classic UI, when you refresh the browser page, you don't lose
When we
anything.
say classic UI, you mean JMix 1.x, yeah?
Yeah,
The first
yeah.
generation. Okay.
Jmix 1.x, yes. And classic UI, then you refresh the browser page. I don't mean application, the browser web page. UI remains the same. You don't lose anything. It's just the same instance of the UI class, which contains all your screens and everything.
Yep.
Since Vaadin 10, if I remember it correctly, you no longer available to preserve the UI class from when you refresh the page. So every time you refresh browser, it's a new UI instance, so you lose everything stored in this UI instance. And the thing that we still need to handle to preserve everything on your screen, because currently in current implementation of tablet window mode, when you refresh the UI, you just open the currently open view. Other will be destroyed, and this current view also will be recreated because it will be recreated from the URL in the browser. Other thing is that initially when we start to implement Jmix 2.x, and depend on Vaadin flow, which, as I said earlier, road-based. You use road-based approach as every modern UI.
UI technology.
Yes. The view opening API, like view navigators and dialog windows, we have two different APIs to open views, and these bins were designed to reflect differences in the opening process. So
in the behavior.
Yeah. So for example, when users navigate to a view, like opening by link, they cannot access this view until it's fully opened and attached to UI. Vaadin invitation, not us.
Yeah. You must always mention this. Okay.
So thus it's impossible to have open listener or something like ready listener or view configure API, but this API is available when you open a view in a dialog, because we have full control over a view instance when we open it in a dialog. And this differs from the classic UI, where we're a single screen builders API with a just open mode setting. It's not different.
Quite a straightforward way. Okay.
Yeah. And by implementing target window mode, we needed to provide the same single view opening API again, and we did. It's called View Builders.
Wow.
Screen builders.
Sounds original.
And also and also we needed to provide conversion between existing API, view navigators and dialog windows to make moving to tablet mode as smooth as possible. And this requires more time for testing and for careful designing.
Yeah, sounds very heavy, really.
Yeah. Additionally, even though we have tablet mode in classic UI, still we have different UI components in Vaadin, different features in these components. So everything actually is implemented from scratch. Just taking classic UI as a visual example, what we need to see later. But all code is new, and actually some parts of like breadcrumbs, it's a new component created using web components, stuff like that. So a lot of code, a lot of physical,
physical work. Okay. All the things that you've described already sounds very heavy, very heavy. I believe, I don't know personally who believe already you in the chat, but I believe that it's very hard.
It looks like I started my presentation.
Please stop spoiling it. Yeah, well, okay. Thank you. I think it was quite explicit why this was so difficult. And you've mentioned that we've spent less than 1 year, and maybe I'm not was 100% correct. That's fine. We'll look how much time will we need to finalize this feature. But okay, this is again a spoiler. I had one more question to Kostya, but I will put it to the end of our webinar, because we've already, I think, acquired all the attendees of our webinar today. I think we should better start, and then we'll discuss the options at the very end of the presentation, because I think that everybody is waiting right now for the demo of the features of the Jmix features, which is the main topic basically today. And I deliver the word to Kostya. Please announce the agenda of our today's webinar, and I will switch off for a while and come back answering the question at the end of our today's webinar. Please continue, Konstantin.
Okay, thank you, Victor. So let's start from the quick overview of what we are going to discuss. New add-ons, ability to edit objects on maps, new UI features, REST API and REST DataStore improvements, usage of UUID version 7 for entity identifiers, new BPM task list view, and Studio improvements. And we'll also discuss our future plans, including what to expect in the next release, as usual. So now let's get started. Gleb will introduce the new add-ons and other UI-related features. Gleb, please begin.
Okay, and let's start with the message template add-on. This add-on is a successor to the email templates add-on from Jmix 1.x, but the previous implementation was very dependent on the reporting add-on and worked directly with it. The new add-on has a completely redesigned approach, and this functionality can now be used more freely. It uses FreeMarker and Graph.js, familiar tools from classic UI. So transferring existing templates to version 2.x will be much easier for you. And the message template add-on supports integration with other Jmix add-ons. For example, if you have email sending add-on, you gain the ability to send emails generated from message templates. This integration allows you to create dynamic template-based emails and send them directly from your application. Also, notification add-on enhances your application's functionality by enabling to use of pre-made message templates then when creating notifications. And this integration simplifies the process of generating consistent and personalized notifications for users. And multi-tenancy add-on, when both multi-tenancy and message templates add-ons are installed, templates, blocks, and groups are automatically segregated by tenant. So, but as it usually says, a demo is worth 1,000 words. So let's jump directly to the demo project and see this add-on in action. For the demo purposes, I'm going to use the room booking application. It's a simple application, just a single entity booking, then you can select title, room, creator, stuff like that. I already have some demo data. Thus we can jump to creating message templates. And let's create a template for the subject of the message that will be sent to the creator of a booking. So this template will dynamically include the booking title, making the subject line personalized and relevant. So let's enter some name, for example, booking email. Subject, same for code, and this time I will use plain text. And here I can define the content of my template. In my case, I'll use code snippet for this. So as you can see here, this booking title is a FreeMarker placeholder that will be replaced with the actual title of the booking, then the message is generated. So now I can save this template. And now let's create the template that will form the body of the message. So let's create another template. Booking email body code. And this time I will use HTML. So as you can see, when we use HTML type for the template, we have this JS editor to form our HTML markup for the template. Let's use a couple of sections. Section 1, section 2, and here let me add a couple of text. So just use my snippet to speed up things. Sorry. Another text block here. Something like this. So again, I'm using here FreeMarker variables to fill with actual values when my template will be proceed. Okay, another text block. Okay, and just a little bit more text here. Something like this. Okay, let's save it. Now let's take a look how we can use these templates in our application. In our booking screen, we have this notify by email button. Let's take a look how this button is implemented. I already have all necessary code, so let's just take a look at the important parts. So message template properties provides configuration properties for the free market template engine. Message templates generator is a bin for generating messages from templates. And then we can use them, for example, by calling generate multi-template. This method passes dynamic parameters like booking a today to the templates with actual values. And then we use generated messages when forming our email that we want to send to the creator of booking. Let's go back to our application and try to send application. No result exception. Why? Let's try again. No result exception. I did not. Oh, I see. Sorry. I changed my codes. Okay, let's try another. Yes. Don't change code while presenting. Okay, and if we go to email history, I can see that I sent email with content provided by my templates. Hello, John, actual values, as you can see, for first name, for dates, and stuff like that. So it works. Next, we can create template for the notifications. How it works? So the same steps. We just create a template, and then when create notification, we can select use message template instead of defined here, and select template from the list. And when we send notification, it will use this template. Okay, let's move on. What other features provides us message template add-on? Template groups. Message template groups can be useful for organizing message templates, particularly in projects with a large number of templates or when you need to manage access permissions for specific sets of templates. So once a group is created, you can assign it to a template. And this allows you to categorize templates effectively and manage them based on their group association. And another thing here that we can create our own template block. So add-on provides the ability to create custom blocks, which can be used to design and structure message templates more efficiently. So you can see here the same Graphs.js editor. So you can combine existing blocks into one, give it a name, and define attributes for it. More information you can find in our documentation. Okay, let's move on. And I'm going to log in as Nicole. Okay, so let's talk about BPM task list. the current implementation of the user tasks view has some limitations in its functionality. And now you can generate an advanced BPM task list view in your project using a dedicated view template. Let's take a look at it. I can stop this and open this one. And let's create a new view. So once you have the BPM add-on installed, you can find this BPM advanced task list view template, which you can use to generate a new view. So let's leave everything by default except parent menu item is BPM. So this view has more features than built-in My Task view and can be customized in the project if as needed, because this view is in your project, so you don't extend existing My Task list view, nothing. It's just new view placed inside your project, which you have full access, and you can change it whatever you need. But another thing to note is that since this project level view, you need to provide permissions to access it. So for example, in my project, I have this BPM process task perform role that includes that this role gives access to this view and appropriate menu item. Let me restart the project just in case. All right. Just another second. Okay, should work now. And Nicole. Okay, thank you. And now I see my advanced task list view, which differs from default My Tasks view. What we can see here, we have this filter on the left side. We can apply it, for example, and see that we applied one condition. We can hide and open this filter. We can reset it, and then you can open BPM task and proceed with it. Again, since this is project level view, you can change it whatever you need and add or remove some functionality on your needs. Okay, another thing that I want to show is since Jmix 2.5, the entity log view provided by the audit add-on now shows both logged in user and substituted user for each change. So for example, let's take a look what I have here. Let's clear. Yeah. So for example, I can see that the user who changed this entity was admin, and substitute user was also admin. And this change was made by admin user, which who substituted Nicole user. So now you can see not only physical user, but also substituted, just in case if you need this information. Another feature that we have in Jmix 2.5 is data grid empty state. For example, let's open suppliers. let's consider an example when we don't have data, or we need too much time to load data, and we want to show users some message that no data yet. What we can do for now? Let's open place list view and disable data load coordinate, so no data will be loaded. Data grid now provides empty state text from XML, so we can write like no data. Refresh the page and see this message. But if you find this message too simple, for example, you can set empty state component. Let's implement this. So let's inject like data supplies data grid. Let's subscribe on init event and set empty state component and get empty state component. We will create this method and I will use snippet just to speed up things. Okay. It's a simple markup that includes horizontal layout and icon plus text. Okay. Let's refresh the page again. Hot deploy says that, yeah. So, and for example, we can implement something like this, or it can be whatever you need. Maybe SVG or another image, or just markup like I did. So whatever you need. In case no data is provided for the data grid component. Okay. Next, what we have in Jmix 2.5 is enhancement for the maps add-on. So let me open UI samples and find the maps add-on. So the maps add-on now provides support for selecting, moving, and modifying features added to vector sources. Let's start, for example, with select mode. And let me increase. So, for example, I can click on my markers and I can see that they can be selected, and we can change the styling of the selecting. For example, if I choose another example, yeah, I can like use different colors or different styles, stuff like that. Everything is explained in our documentation, but in simple words, to enable select mode, you need to enable feature select enabled attribute for vector source. Same is applicable for other new modes. For example, for drag mode, if you enable feature drag enabled, then you can see that you have this button. When you click it, you can move features on the map. Same with modify mode. Another attribute, feature modify enabled, set to true, and you have two buttons. One to modify. Let me zoom in. For example, you can see then this button is clicked, is checked. You can see these dots that allows you to modify feature or just remove it. And again, all these new modes can be styled whatever you need. For example, let's take a look for the modify. Here, if we enable, we can see that it has different colors for each feature on the map. Okay. And the last, but not least, is a tabbed application mode that you asked, you voted, you commented on GitHub issue, added reactions, everything. So Please welcome Tabit application mod. So this new Tabit application mod add-on, it provides as add-on, and it allows you to open application views in separate tabs inside the main view. For example, like this. So multiple views can be opened simultaneously, and the user can switch between them, whatever user needs. So additionally, multiple views can be opened in the same tab, creating a view stack that is displayed as breadcrumbs. For example, if we open some project, you can see this breadcrumbs. It's open the same tab. And as I already mentioned in the start of our presentation, that add-on provides a new bin for opening views called view builders, a single point of opening views when you use this add-on. Even though this functionality is provided as add-on, it is not available in our marketplace. If you want to automatically set up your application to using this add-on, you need to use a new application, a new project template. So, for example, if I go new project, select Jmix, next, you can see here experimental full stack application with Tabit mod add-on. This is done in this way because if you want to include this into existing application, you need to make a small changes inside your application. So it's not easy to just include dependency into your project. For example, if we open main view, you can see that it uses another base class for it, standard Tabit main Tabit mode main view. Also, changes to the XML are needed. For example, we change XML schema and uses work area component, which displays our tabs. So this, if in case you want to add this add-on into your project, you need to do these changes manually. And again, everything is explained in our documentation. Also, you may need to make changes to some of your views because, as I mentioned before, this add-on completely disables Vaadin navigation functionality. Thus, it disables Vaadin navigation events sent to views on which your views may relay. For example, for enter event, after navigation event, or because of that, you may need to refactor your views manually. And again, everything, some examples and suggestions provided in our documentation. And the last thing is that this add-on provides several application properties. For example, Jmix, max tab count defines the maximum number of tabs that can be displayed to the user at the same time. By default, it's 20. Multiple open means that the same view can be opened from the main menu several times. By default, it's disabled, and it means that every time you click on the side menu to open a view, previous one is closed and a new is created and shown to the user. And show breadcrumbs, you can disable this displaying of breadcrumbs in views, even if you have a stack of views in the same tab. And that's actually it for my part of the presentation.
Okay, thank you, Gleb. So my part of the presentation probably will be less exciting. And let's begin with the generic REST API add-on. So now the generic REST endpoints can now accept arbitrary fetch plans as JSON objects. This reduces the need for named fetch plans predefined in fetch plan repository. So client can now define the shape of the loaded objects on its own without changing the server code. However, this feature can increase the risk of unexpected data exposure. So you should carefully set up the security permissions for entities and their attributes. That's why we recommend turning off the inline fetch plans in existing projects and reassess your security configuration first. When you migrate your project with the REST API add-on to Jmix 2.5 using Studio, it will set a special inline fetch plan enabled application property to false and disable this feature. In new projects, inline fetch plans are enabled by default. The new inline fetch plans feature in the REST API mainly impacts how we use the REST data store. Now you don't have to define all fetch plans in the shared repositories of the integrated applications. Instead, you can use inline fetch plan in your client views and in Java code, the same as you do when working with databases. And one more improvement that simplifies work with external data is the implementation of file storage. This implementation loads and saves files through the generic REST API. It's a client-side proxy that enables transparent access to files located in the file storage of the service application. You can see the result of these improvements in our separate tiers application example, which is in our guide section in the documentation. So let's take a look at a view, source code of a view. And you can see here a regular inline fetch plan in the front-end application, which works through the REST data store. And there are no fetch plan repositories at all in this integrated applications. So the fetch plans are converted to JSON and passed along with REST requests. Now about the file storage. Again, here in the build Gradle of the front-end application, there are no any file storage add-on dependencies. Instead, the application defines this bin of the REST file storage type. So the application will contain a single file storage implementation, as usual. And the REST file storage constructor accepts two parameters. The first one is the data store name, backend in this case, and the second one is the name of a file storage of the service application. In this case, it's standard local file storage named FS. As a result, the views can contain UI components working with files located in the remote file storage without any specifics of REST communication. For example, this file storage upload field and image components, they don't have any special configuration, and hence they work with the default file storage of the front-end application, which is REST file storage. And in fact, they access the backend file through the REST API. And here in another view, you can see the programmatic access to the file storage interface. Again, it actually downloads files from the backend file storage through the REST file storage proxy. In general, with these improvements, the client application code working through the REST data store is now almost identical to the code that interacts with the database. And the only remaining difference is absence of JPQL queries. Obviously, you cannot use JPQL here. Okay, the next new feature is the usage of UUID version 7 for generating entity identifiers. UUID version 7 consists of two parts. The first part is time-based and always increasing. The second part is completely random. The resulting sequence of UUID strings is naturally ordered, which makes it much better suited for database keys than fully random UIDs. And at the same time, UID version 7 are still globally unique because of the random part. So we decided to employ this new UID format for entity identifiers. For this, we added a new static method to UID provider class, and this method is now invoked by default when generating new UID for entity attributes annotated with Jmix generated value annotation. This method in turn calls a well-known open source library UUID creator. If for some reason you want to continue using the fully random UIDs for entity identifiers, just set this legacy entity UID property to true in your project. Now let's take a look at improvements in Studio. The first one is the hot deploy indicator. It helps developers track the status of hot deployment, in other words, whether the latest changes in source code are applied to the running application. Maybe you noticed how Gleb used this indicator when he presented his demo. So now let's take a look at it one more time. I'll switch to another sample application, and here in a view, in the source code of a view, you can see this icon in the top right corner. When the application is not running, the icon is gray, and the pop-up shows that the status is inactive. We can run application right from here, or of course, as usual, using run debug configuration. And one more way to run the application now is here from the root node in Jmix tool window. By the way, it's also a little new feature which can be especially convenient in large composite projects. So let's wait for the application to start. Yeah, and open this view. Yeah, and if I change the source code of the view, I will add some text here. By the way, now you can see that the application is running, and the icon is now has a green border, and the status tells us the hot deploy is active, but it didn't happen yet. So if I change the source code and press Command S, save the file, you see this additional message about hot deploy. The icon turns all green, and the status message tells us about the last hot deploy time. And now, at this moment, I can switch to the application and refresh the page and see the results. So now, by glancing at this indicator, even if your console is closed, you can see when the hot deploy really takes place, and hopefully it will let you restart the application less frequently. That's the main purpose. The next improvement is a specific Jmix run debug configuration. You can notice that this configuration has a Jmix icon instead of Gradle. In fact, this configuration is very similar to the previously used Gradle configuration, and it also contains this before launch tasks that you can add or remove. You can add another configuration of the same type, for example, to start the application with different parameters. And this specific Jmix run debug configuration allows the application to shut down correctly without throwing errors in the console. So if I stop the application, you can see this the clean console. This configuration can be created manually, or it is created by Studio. Now I'll remove it. So now I have no run debug configuration. It will automatically create it by Studio if you use this start application action from the Jmix tool window. Wait a second, yeah, so we again have the same configuration with default parameters. Okay, the next feature is the support for selecting CSS class names for UI components. Available class names are extracted by Studio from the Vaadin Luma utility class and from other classes on the class path with a special annotation, theme utility classes. There is such a class in Jmix Luma utility, and you can define your own classes with CSS class names in your add-ons or in the application itself. So here in my application, I have this class in the project. So it's just class with the constants, some constants that denote the class names, annotated with this annotation. And Studio will offer available class names when you start typing in the class names field of the component inspector here, for example, or if you type here in the class names right in the XML, or you can click this edit button and select a class name from this wizard. So there are a lot of them, especially from Vaadin, but there is some documentation extracted from the classes, so it will help you to find a needed class name. And the last new feature that I would like to highlight today is the ability to generate OpenAPI client by tags. In the previous release 2.4, we introduced a feature that greatly simplifies integration with external applications by generating client code from OpenAPI schema and creating appropriate entities, mappers, and services. But sometimes an OpenAPI schema can be very large, while you need only a part of it for integration. In this case, generating client code from the whole schema produces a lot of unused classes that need to be compiled and generally bloat and slow down your application. Now, if the schema has tags here on the slide, you can select only necessary tags, and Studio will create a partial schema file with only relevant paths and components. And after that, it will start the OpenAPI client generator with this file and create only useful client code. Well, that's all about these release features. Now, a few words about our future plans. Our next release is planned for this June. And first, we need to make the tabbed application mode production ready. This will probably involve some changes in the API, so please be ready to minor breaking changes. I hope they'll will be not hard to fix. And of course, we need your feedback, so please don't hesitate to file bugs and share your ideas while using this add-on. Also, we are going to implement an add-on for easy integration with SAML authentication providers. It will complement our current OpenID Connect and LDAP add-ons. On the UI side, we are going to implement a switch component as an optional replacement for the standard checkbox. Another planned feature is the UI testing library that would simplify writing end-to-end UI tests based on Selenium. We had such a tool for classic UI, it's called Masquerade. And now we want to create a similar thing for Flow UI. And last but not least, we are going to integrate our AI assistant into Studio for a better developer experience. We'll begin with the basic chat features and then gradually expand the assistant's capabilities for more advanced tasks. We'll also start working on grouping data grid component as we promised, with features similar to the group table of the classic UI. I hope we'll be able to deliver it later this year. So this is a link to our roadmap. You can find it on GitHub. It's now updated for the current state of our achievements, current achievements, and understanding of future plans. So that's all for today from our side. Thank you very much for your attention.
New features and highlighting the capabilities to our community. Yeah, we have some questions in the chat, and I'm going to go through them. But before that, I'd like to highlight that, yeah, basically we've already highlighted the URL path to the Jmix roadmap. You can also find it in the Slack channel, just in the thread connected to the event announcement. So I've also published the link to our actual roadmap there if it will be difficult to find it for you. I want to add to this topic that basically this roadmap includes the features within the ongoing release. They have less uncertainty, and we know how to do that. But speaking about future plans, you will find more information in the special blog post, which will release by the end of the next week. It will be the recap of the past year and our vision over the next year, globally, let's say. And there we'll highlight the directions where we're going to move with JMix technology. That's it. So I think that let's go through the questions we have in the chat. I'll go from down to top. Thank you, El-Bashir, for mentioning the nice feature of hot deploy indicator. I love it also. So there is a question from Raris about the timesheets demo with tabs on GitHub, whether it's available on GitHub, basically. Gleb, I think this is a question to you. I know that this is coming from training materials. I'm not aware of availability at GitHub of this project.
Sorry, I'm mute. This particular project isn't available in GitHub because it's my private playground project. I just test things on that project. Something similar you built during our training course, actually, and you can just create a new project from a new project template, and you will have the same table mode, but not the same project functionality.
Okay. So basically, there is no difficulty to do the same tabs mode when initializing a new project, but there will be not this domain area which we demonstrated today.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you want to apply it, tablet application mode add-on to the existing project, just go to our documentation, and all steps are described there. How to add dependencies, how to change main view base class, how to alter your main view XML file, and also post some refactoring for your views that you may need to do if some problems exist.
Okay. So sorry, I've missed a question from El-Bashir. He asks whether we can show how to access the last feature about tag and AI in IntelliJ as you did for the former ones. So I think this is the question about the open API tags. I guess this is already available. It's just a recent update of the Jmix Studio. Konstantin, am I right?
Yes, sure. It's in latest Studio 2.5. So when you start creating client from the Open API schema, you will see this step of the wizard with selection of tags if the tags are available in the schema.
Is then Open API YAML configuration file, specification file. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And regarding AI integration into Jmix Studio, I'd like to add that this will be basically just added in the next Jmix release. So this will be in ongoing release. I mean Jmix 2.6 already. This will be the first implementation of this integration of AI assistant into the Jmix Studio. So right now it's not available yet. It's available just as a separate tool. You can access it from documentation, from the main page, or just accessing Jmix AI Assistant directly by URL. Well, okay. Can we go forward? I think yes. Mladen asks, "What will this is the question? Some questions regarding the tablet mode. The first question is from Mladen. What if you open the two same tabs in the open mode? So in the tablet mode. So will they both work correctly?
Same tabs. Well, if you open the same view from the main menu, then by default, previous one view will be closed, and the new one will be shown to the user. So kind of recreating of the view. But if you enable multi-open mode either globally or for this particular view by using annotation, indicated annotation, then two tabs will be created for the same view.
Well, okay. And El Bashir asks, what the behavior of the tablet application if we refresh the page with already open tabs?
Currently, until we manage to implement preserve and refresh for the UI class, only the currently opened view will be reopened after page refresh because it will be reopened based on a URL presented in the browser. So, but again, it will be a new instance of this view. And if it's, for example, a detail view that is opened in the same tab, like breadcrumbs view stack, after refresh, it will be only a single view because view stack will be destroyed again until we manage to implement preserve and refresh.
Okay. One more question from El Bashir regarding tabs. Can we open two different tabs side by side? I
Like
guess
this?
that maybe you have two tabs in the web browser.
Tabs.
Yeah, working both in the tablet mode. Is this an option for Jmix?
Well, you definitely can open two browser tabs of the same application, and both tabs will support tablet mode. But you cannot open like two tabs simultaneously, like side by side, like I see this functionality tab and tab in one browser window. No, we don't have such functionality in Classic UI and don't have in the Flow UI, and probably won't have it in nearest future.
Okay.
It's another level of changing Vaadin.
And I see one more exotic request from Mladen. Can you drag and drop the tab from the view to make a new browser tab? So
No. You currently you can't even drag and drop tabs in the main view, but I added this idea to the issue, including improvements for the tablet mode, because in Classic UI, as I remember, we have such functionality to drag and drop tabs in the main view, but like dragging it in creating new browser tab now.
okay. One more question regarding this special empty state for the data grid view. The question is it possible to define the empty data message directly in the XML descriptor?
Yeah, because data grid supports two options. empty state text, which is available through XML because it's just text. It's easier to load from XML. And if you want something more complex, then you can use set empty state component and provide UI component with empty state, which may be a simple markup like I did, or a image, or whatever.
Okay, thank you. There is some more proposal from Elbashir to think about the statically assigned messages in the project. I think we'll discuss it just in the direct mode via the Slack channel. So this thing need to be discussed additionally. Okay, that's great. Good. So it seems that we've passed all the questions in our YouTube channel, in our chat. And before closing the webinar, I want to ask the question which we've already prepared together with Konstantin about the REST data store functionality. And my question was the following: we put a lot of efforts in developing this REST data store functionality, and now it looks like a feature completed thing that supports file storage, supports queries, and the question is, will it basically work when we will try to connect Jmix 1.x, the first generation of Jmix, to the Jmix, the second generation, using this generic REST API add-on from the Jmix first generation and the REST data store from the Jmix second generation? Will it basically operate in this mode, making available to the developers to access the new UI features of Jmix 2 using the Jmix 1 as a backend?
Yeah, it should, because the REST API as an API didn't change much from the version 1 of Jmix, or even from Kuba platform to version 2 of Jmix. But I foresee some trouble with authentication, because currently the main scenario of integration is using client credentials grant, OAuth 2 grant, and the REST API version 1 and Kuba REST API didn't support this flow. So probably we'll have to provide some special implementation of one class, REST Authenticator, which is a part of the REST data store code base, which would use the authentication supported with these older versions of REST API. But the generic endpoints like entities, services, and so on, they mostly we're interested mostly in entities endpoints, are completely the same, except for the new improvements that I was talking about today. But these improvements are not, they can be worked around. Actually, they're not used if you provide fetch plans for on both sides, on the client, on the server, and you can use them as previously.
Okay, so there should be some, let's say, additional investigations in the area of the security, to connect those both sides. But in general, it seems that it should work.
And if someone is interested in this use case, please let us know, so we prioritize it. This work, in this direction.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Konstantin, for sharing your thoughts about this functionality. And the last announcement today about the Kuba platform, basically, you may know that regarding our previous statements, we were going to finish the free support for Kuba platform since the 1st of March 2025. But we see that still we have large project implementations across our customer database. And we understand that yet we cannot fulfill all the requirements to move these projects into the Jmix second functionality. I mean, first First of all, in terms of the UI capabilities, we decided to prolong, to continue support for the Cuba platform for 1 more year until the 1st of March 2026. And that means that at least 1 more update of the Cuba platform will be released until that moment, including the potential issues which will happen, especially critical issues, I mean, until this time. And I would like to say that the Cuba platform users will also get support when our specialist will be available via the free support forum. But you must take into account that we significantly reduce the internal capacities of people who are in charge on Cuba, and basically this will be not so fast as you may anticipate in regard to Jmix support, for example, because for sure Jmix is the top priority product which we are fostering and reinforcing with all our available capacities, and this is the only focus, of our team, to push this technology forward and to move our customer base and especially their projects to this into this area. In case you have some ideas about upgrading your projects to from Cuba to Jmix, you can also access our sales team, especially Alex Burov. He is in the chat right now, and we can organize an internal call to discuss how this can be done, because we already have the ongoing projects for migrating from Cuba to Jmix, and they look quite successful. Yeah, thank you very much for staying with us during our today's webinar. Hope that the features we've demonstrated today were very insightful and helpful for you. I saw that you have good emotions and send good emotions regarding those features. Don't forget to subscribe on our channels, especially on YouTube. Don't forget to like this video, because we are very interested in promoting the Jmix technology in the YouTube channel, especially. This helps us a lot. And you may also subscribe on our Slack channel to communicate with the team directly, ask your questions, and discuss some ideas, because you may know that we definitely try to approach everybody who proposes something interesting and to investigate how this can help the whole community. And also don't forget to subscribe on our Twitter. There we post the latest news about Jmix and from the Jmix team, and this will help you to keep yourself up to date with what we do. So thank you for staying with us, and be productive. See you next time. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Goodbye. Have a good day.